ちになって敵と戦い勝つのだ。子供いささか変わることあるべからず。
Good evening. I'm the professor, and I got a short here for you. I was in Discord having a conversation, someone asked about Miyamoto, and I realized it'd just be so much easier to do a video of him than to try to type it all out. So this is going to be a short video on what you can do with Miyamoto. Additionally, I have not done very many videos in the last while, and I'll explain that at the end, what's going on with that one. So with that, let's just do Miyamoto here. So the question was asked, when do you use the different skills? And I had said it was very nuanced and technical in a sense, that there was a different reason to use this one. So if you see people with different skills, they might be aiming for a different thing. So to do this thing, the first thing I need to emphasize is there's going to be a difference between early game, late game, scaling, and Yodit. So Yodit's going to be the fourth one, which we don't actually have out yet. So that's going to be one of the biggest reasons of what's going on here. So what are the options? You have Earth Crush. And this one here will deal some amount of damage immediately, and then it'll deal a chunk of damage every second for 6 seconds. The way that this thing is coded, it'll start the first second of route damage on the turn you cast it, and then 6 seconds. So if I cast this thing on turn 1, then on turn 4, which is 3 seconds later, I'll still have the route effect going. And then it'll end on turn 6, 1 to 6. So my next turn 7, I can reactivate the route effect. So every second one, you can get this bonus section of damage here. But every time, on the 4th second there, the middle one, can't reactivate it. So this part can activate every single time. But this part can only activate, it'll overwrite itself, so it won't stack. So you can keep it up indefinitely, and that's good. But if this skill is activating every single time, this is only getting half its value, because it lasts for 3 seconds, so 6. Meanwhile, you have Peerless Strike. Very simple initially. 25%. Does a nice big chunk of damage. Does an even bigger chunk of damage. I'll explain this one here in a second. High Spirit is the other one here. And this one will increase your activation chance by a portion here. So charging skills doesn't affect us, but all of your activation skills, which will include Peerless Strike, Earth's Crush, your signature is an active skill, but it will also increase, which I think is on Derek right now, your ring's activation chance. These are active skills as well, so these will have a more higher chance to activate. The other one this includes is going to be Effluent Sun, another active skill. This is one of the reasons why this is suggested on Miyamoto, is his high damage, but also the fact that he makes it activate a little bit more often. Charging State means it activates even higher often with... This is pretty loud, actually. I'm just going to drop the volume a bit. Why High Spirit, which will increase active charging skills by even higher. That's a good combo and synergy. So what's the difference? Well, the biggest difference is at level 40, 200 damage, 20. If I put scrolls on it, 200 damage does not change, 30. This part here scales, whereas this part here does not. So Earth Crush is actually going to do the highest damage in the early game. So if they're all at 1 star, this value here is higher than Peerless. Oops, sorry. If this one here at 0 stars is going to be higher damage than Peerless Strike. However, the full amount, the 200 plus the 34.5, scales. So the total damage at max rank for Peerless Strike is going to be higher than Earth Crush. Earth Crush, you can go, we'll have this thing here where it does most damage early on. Peerless Strike is later on. But Earth Crush also has the fact that it inflicts the route state. You have this other hero named King Derek, who greatly benefits from the target being in the route state. So if Miyamoto has Earth Crush, Derek can become stronger. It's way more synergistic. Peerless Strike and High Spirit don't have that effect. Earth Crush has the biggest synergy with King Derek, and that's one of the reasons it's the strongest one early. But as soon as you replace King Derek with Yodit, it loses that synergy. So it becomes a question that you can get Earth Strike here, and that'll give you more immediate, low-cost damage. It's the best if you don't plan to take it very far. And if you never really plan on getting Yodit and taking her very far anyways, this becomes the best option. So Earth Crush is definitely good there. Peerless Strike has one advantage to it that isn't playing out here. During the beta, you could actually get Peerless Strike for free. So if you went and did the Borderland Exploration event, I think it was called, you could actually get 2 sets of skills, you had 4 options, and Peerless Strike was one of them for free. So you could get Peerless Strike for 0 cost. Earth Crush was stronger, but this was free. So if you bought Furious Charge, which was the one you wanted, and Peerless Strike for free, that was the cheapest way to get this army. So you could get it up and running, and it still was pretty good. Less damage and less, like synergy than Earth Crush, but it didn't cost you 8k coins. So if you were planning on just doing a light army where you didn't invest much, or you were trying to do something significant in the early game, you could wait, get this one immediately and wait a while before getting something else. That was its biggest value. Problem is, as soon as the official release happened, they no longer made this thing, the event didn't come. It still hasn't shown up. We're like close to a month, or actually I think we are actually a month into the thing, and no event. And that completely scuttled why you'd use Peerless Strike, because now you can't get it early on. Like you used to be able to get it like week 1 or something like that for free. So it was just a really, really good option. Can't anymore. So Peerless Strike is now no longer a great option. Used to be, wasn't beta, isn't anymore. Finally, you have High Spirit. And this one here is the best with a disclaimer. Okay? Earth Crush and High Spirit. Earth Crush is the best early on. High Spirit is the best scaling. So the reason for this thing is twofold. One, the biggest thing of High Spirit, like if you're running Fierce Charge and High Spirit like I currently am, you have nothing else to for High Spirit to activate except for your signature. It is the only thing that activates. So you're giving up another skill, which has base damage, to instead get your signature skill activating more often. What this means here is that you need to have your signature skill be more powerful to get more value out of a High Spirit. If your signature skill is weak, High Spirit is weak. If your signature skill is massively powerful and OP, then High Spirit becomes incredibly powerful. And that's the trade-off. How much power is invested into your signature skill? Peerless Strike is better, Earth Crush is worse. How much stuff is not invested in your signature? Earth Crush becomes the way better option. Some of the ways that you can invest in your signature include things like 3rd star. When Moment of Yin causes the hero with the highest might, excluding caster, to activate a skill, increase the skill damage by 30%. Might bonus. So this one, if I actually have a 3-star Miyamoto, High Spirit is going to make this effect also apply more often, because it's making the signature apply more often. So that makes it a little bit more valuable. Just adding a quick extra piece, your 1st star here also gives you an extra damage bonus of 50 for Moment of Yin. So if you have a 0-star Miyamoto, you losing this extra damage, High Spirit is worth even less. Earth Crush becomes way more advantageous if your Miyamoto is only 0-star. The biggest one, another one is if you get Tribuana and her signature here, which allows you to makes it so your commander skill activates a lot more frequently. Here it is, 45%. Right, so I'm not even at maximum level yet. It'll be 50% max level. And it also gives you an additional 10% here. So you're getting 60% increase on your signature skill, which is making it pop more often, which is making this thing here, and there's more value put into here. If you get this one here on top of it, you can get this thing here to be close to 100% uptime. And so the combination will make that one actually, it makes your signature a larger part of your power budget, and that's why it's more powerful. Now, the thing that really does it, though, you won't be able to see this thing easily from here. Deals might damage to the target, damage rate 145. This thing will go up to, I think it's 150. Increases all your heroes' might damage, the base damage is not very high. 150 is actually really, really low, or I think it's like 160. So when Miyamoto activates his signature and causes King Derek to activate, he's only getting an extra 150 or 100, I think it's 160 base value out of it. When Miyamoto's third star activates, he is only increasing a base damage of 160 by 30%, right? He's not, or it's going to be by about 60 actually. He's not actually increasing your thing by a large amount. Derek is the best of the worst that we've got right now. He works, not great. With Derek, his signature skill, which is the whole thing this is all combo is being balanced on, has a low base damage. Yoda is going to come around and she's got a base damage of 300. So this 160 goes up to 300. You literally double it, which means every time Miyamoto activates his signature skill, instead of getting a bonus 160 damage whenever this happens, he gets a bonus 300. That's a big deal. So his own was going to be like 390, I think it is. He's going to take his 390 from his signature skill, plus 300 from this thing here, with a 30% activation chance. And that's going to be the total damage this skill is going to do. This is now becoming a very powerful skill with Yodit. And Trib is going to make this thing activate really, really often. But now High Spirit, instead of just giving you a few more Earth Crush activations, right? Now all of a sudden High Spirit is making your really, really power, like, what was it? 390 plus 300 is like 690. So that's only going to be 690 damage. Earth Crush is going to do 320, right? So it's just double the damage, which is massive. Unless you start putting stars on here, but it doesn't scale up very well. High Spirit is going to make your biggest hit a lot harder. The more you invest in these other things, the more valuable High Spirit is. The less you invest in them, though, Earth Crush is the better option. And you can no longer get Peerless Strike for free, which sucks. So that's the basic reason why you pick which one you go for. And why I say it depends on what you're trying to do, and it depends on how hard you invest, how far you get. If all you're doing is, like, say, to go to this rough level and stop at King Derek and no further, like, I haven't put any talents in here because I'm saving them all for Yodit. Oops, not talents. That's not the right one. But at that current level, if I were to stop where I am now, Earth Crush is the better option because I'm not investing. And I guess I should say Fierce Charge is just the best because it increases, well, Trib is one thing, but it'll increase your signature skill damage by a lot more as well. It's worth a lot more than Earth Crush for base damage. So that is why I am going what I'm going. Now, the question was also asked, this is a bonus one, what rings are you going to go? And there are a few options. Again, this largely depends on how much you're spending. One of the options, which I think is here on King Derek, Ring of Tulip. The reason for this thing is an activation, so it's going to activate more often. It's on King Derek, and he's got really high might, and he also has Furious Charge. So this is just a very quick and easy way to get extra damage. And this is probably what's going to sit on top of your Miyamoto for a while. You also get it for free, right? Which is awesome. However, let's see, how do I do this? Let's go from cheapest to most expensive. So I'm going to go from free to play upwards. The thing that you want to get on Miyamoto the most, it's not this one, by the way, I did this and fixed something else, is more power to Miyamoto. So I'm actually going to go over to this one. Reduces all your heroes' armor by 20 and increases the commander's might by 22. Why this one and not this one up here like I'm currently got? 13.6 to everything, or 22 to just the one stat that really matters. This will make Miyamoto the most powerful. If you can get this ring and get him up to level 10, you're increasing your might by a whole 33 or 34 here. And that is massive increase versus getting this one over here, 20.99. Like, so this one at level 10 is just catching up to the other one there. So what you would want to do is get this ring on him. Now this is what I'm going to do next. I am literally just waiting for one thing. Let's see. Fine craft. Oop. I got 1 day and 22. So which means that after reset goes, and I get one more of these hammers, this is now going to be at the end of reset, and then I'm going to go and get myself 30 to claim the extra 100 rewards. That's my goal. Soon as I get this one here, so tomorrow, and get that extra 100, I am now going to have enough to go over and buy that ring I just told you about. That's the one that I'm going for next. I just haven't gotten it yet. Now, the cool thing of this ring... One of the things that makes this ring so powerful is that it'll increase your commander's might, but it does not require being on your commander. So what I am doing currently at the moment is going to have Ring of Lion on my Miyamoto and Ring of Bear on, say, my Tribuana. So that way my Tribuana can increase the might of my Miyamoto, and Miyamoto is also increasing his own might. This is making my commander the strongest way I can. So this is going to be a very low spender option that you can do. If you want to scale it up, the next one you want to do is Effluent Sun. This is a charging state, and it deals massive might damage. Here, 70 this thing, 30% activation. So this one here can go on Miyamoto, and with High Spirit we'll have a fairly large uptime. It goes up to like a 45%. So it's actually pretty good with that one. And Miyamoto gets extra base damage. Furious Charge, High Might, it's going to work out really, really well with him. This is going to be the best option for Miyamoto specifically. The other option here is going to be Skyward Knight. I am not going to suggest Skyward Knight to vast majority of you. Specific reasons, okay? It does do exactly what you want it to do, but the cost is astronomical. You can take a Effluent Sun up to level 10 for the same cost that you can do to get Skyward Knight. So you can do this thing, but you get 0 power until you eventually purchase it. So you go from 0 to 100. And that means that for the entire in-term duration, you're weak. You have no benefit. The shorter you can make that in-term duration, aka the more you spend, then you're weak for shorter. If you get it really, really quick, then it's actually pretty good. So if you're spending a large amount of money, this does become a very strong option because it will increase your commander's damage, which is nice, and it will increase your active skills activation chance by that. That is also nice. Or I should say both of those are actually exactly perfect stats you want. They're very, very nice. Okay, level 10, it's going to be, you're going to have close to 300 strategy, so you're looking at a total of about 9%. Somewhere about a 9% increase in damage, and that's very, very good for Miyamoto. And signature active skills activation chance is going up by 2.7. That's very, very good, because 2.7 for comparison, this gives you 3. Your 5th star gives you 2 effects, but one of them is just increased in activation chance by 3%. So a level 10 of the Skyward Knight is a pretty dang good, very strong option. But you have to get past that weak period until you can eventually get it. And then you have to get up to level 10, which takes a huge amount of extra time. Most people, the 2 rings I would suggest is going to be Ring of Lion and Ring of Bear, I think it's called. Ring of Bear. Those are what you want to go for. So, yeah. That is Miyamoto. That is what he's doing. That's the reason why you want to go the different skills. I am planning on taking Miyamoto as strong as I can because he's going to be my most powerful army. So even though I've got nothing on it now, I just pre-planned and went with High Spirit. Earth Crush would have served me a lot higher, or a lot better for the meantime, but oh well. I future planning that one. So free, most powerful earlier on, most powerful later on. Most powerful with 0 stars, more powerful than him. Yeah. If I'm getting stars on Miyamoto though, and I'm not like a big massive spender, Furious Charge is where I'd want to put him on. Okay. This one's going to increase my damage, and it's going to increase it 5 times the amount that it shows the increase. But this is going to make your signature skill hit harder. That's definitely what you want. High Spirit is nice, but it's not the one that you want to put stars on. Okay, it's going to increase it by 6%. So it's like about a 1%, 1.5% each. It's just not going to be the most impactful. What I'm specifically saving for, though, is Yodit, so I can put all of them on Yodit. That's my goal. So even Furious Charge is going to be secondary to just getting as much on Yodit as I can. She's actually a very strong hero. In the meantime, though, that's all. So thank you very much for watching that. And I'll now explain to you why I've been absent from YouTube for a while. I'm actually in the works of trying to create a series, and it's admittedly taking a lot more effort and time than I thought. It was just harder than I thought. So what this thing here is going to be is that there's all these future heroes that we keep talking about, like Yodit and Boudica and Solomon and stuff like that. So I'm going to do a series of videos on each one of them. So these are the ones I'm going to be doing: Yodit, Boudica, Bellavir, Solomon, Lublu, and Ram King. Now, I've done all of the work and the prep work for these things here, but I'm in the middle of recording the actual video itself. So it's got everything like the stats. It's going to explain the commander skills. It's going to explain the builds, spenders, investment, where do you want to put that. And then when I'm describing these things, I'll use more words than just, these are literally my notes, which I'm going to make available as well. Which skills, every time you want to go onto this thing, you know, when you get those things, skill scrolls, stars, how it works, different abilities, things here. I'm going to go and do a full explanation for all these armies. What rings you want to go, and stuff like that. Different thing. Whoop. I didn't actually know you could do that. How do I get back? So then there's Boudica and all of the stats for her and stuff. And there's Bellavir and everything there. And Bellavir's a complicated one, by the way. Like, I've had to do whole charts and stuff like that just to be able to math out the different effects. And I've found some real gems, by the way. Like Ring of Daisy versus Effluent Sun. For this is a damage per cycle, so every 3 seconds is a cycle. With Bellavir, the closer you can get to double attack, the more powerful Ring of Daisy becomes. So if you have a full-on, when using both 3-star of those two, and Ring of Daisy has like a permanent double attack up, which you won't actually hit there. This is what she does at 3 stars. Or sorry, at level 30. 62 damage per second. Effluent Sun does 60 damage per second. Ring of Daisy, if you could actually get permanent double attack, which Lublu and Bellavir can either get that or get close, does more damage than a maxed out legendary skill. It is one of the most powerful rings for those particular heroes in the game. So things like these things are what I would go and build out and stuff. Because nobody would know about this. So that's there. Now, if you don't have double attack, Ring of Daisy is only half that. So it's nowhere near as powerful. It is specifically this combination, and specifically with Lublu and Bellavir, and sometimes Mulan, that you can do that. So yeah, there's like 37 pages of these notes. So I'm going to have 6 videos coming out together all at once. It's going to be a really, really cool one. And this video is 24 minutes long. I cannot do a short video to save my life. But as soon as I can get this out, and I hope you look forward to it, I'm going to have a whole lot of things to teach you and show you about what you can look forward to. So for now, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my quote-unquote short video, which is way longer than it should, but oh well. Have a good day.